So, being not a New 52 fan, I was pretty hesitant to watch yet another New 52 animated movie. But honestly, I'm very glad I spent $23.47 on Prime because this movie was awesome. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing Justice League Apokolips War. Oh my gosh. This is going to have some spoilers in it. I'm not going to go crazy with it. If you've watched the trailer, you already know that this is basically a movie about Darkseid's last ditch effort to take over Earth. It seems like a run of the mill Justice League movie where they need to stop Darkseid once again from trying to conquer everything. But you would be wrong because this movie is extremely dark and extremely freaking violent. I've never been a New 52 fan. Some reboots of comic series are good, some are not so good, and I literally felt like this was not done well. I don't know why, I just never connected with it. Not like I've done with some of the other reboots, like Superior Spider-Man with Octavius being Spider-Man for a little while. Totally love that storyline. Especially since he was a better Peter Parker in the Marvel Universe. But I don't know. I just never got into New 52. So this really, being that this is the death of the New 52 animated movie, which means we're probably moving into Rebirth now, I was completely okay with checking the movie out. But I'm really glad I did. This is like Battle Royale stuff. This is worse than Endgame. 90% of our heroes, I'm talking our powerhouse heroes that we love, that we think are invincible, were flipping ripped apart very early on. It's like people were falling that I didn't think were gonna fall. There were a lot of stand-out characters. Like, honestly, I did not realize how powerful the Swamp Thing was until I watched this movie and saw him not only take on the Paradooms or Parademons and destroy the Machine in the movie at the same time, which I guess is a bigger spoiler than I meant to give. But I really, really, really love Swamp Thing. It really, I mean, looking at it, I guess it makes sense. I mean, he really is, like, if there was a tier, I guess he would be one of the highest tiers on the Justice League scale, because that scene was awesome. Also, I thought Trigon versus Darkseid was awesome. A friend who was watching the movie asked why Trigon was so eager to just fight Darkseid. They didn't really have to convince Trigon to do it. But then you got to look at the character's personality. He doesn't care if it's a strip mall, as long as he can, rule over it. He's gonna fight that, for the right to be the ruler. So of course he's gonna fight Darkseid for Apokolips. It makes total sense. But I thought that was epic. Those two powerhouse supervillains fighting each other was pretty sweet. I loved Constantine. I love that they kept Matt Ryan as his voice actor because honestly, he is my Constantine. But I love that he was sinking more into this depression and guilt over not being able to save Zatanna in the movie fairly early on, because basically the events of the movie are 2 years after everybody gets ripped apart. Which this is absolutely more of a spoiler than I was going to do. But I really loved how he was portrayed and how we got to see things from his point of view for most of the movie. I mean, it did focus more on him, Superman, Damian, and Raven, and a little bit of Harley Quinn because we had the Suicide Squad involved. Like, they had a crazy hybrid. Like, Lois recruits members of, actually ex-members of the Suicide Squad to merge with survivors of the League and the Dark League. So I thought that was pretty cool. But, Constantine was extremely cool in this movie. Extremely cool. Something else I thought was interesting, like, I was under the impression that all of this was the Flash's fault or Barry's fault. And having that basically the knowledge that Dr. Manhattan actually is more responsible for all these flashpoints, that was an interesting spin for me, which is cool. I think incorporating more of flashpoints in these universes are a very good segue of jumping from one, canon comic run to another, because I know Rebirth is next. I mean, that's a logical next, step, and then we will get like cool series like Dark Metal, like Dark Knight Metal, or like I would love, I may be in the minority here, but I would love for somebody to literally do the Batman Who Laughs in animated form, though you think this is dark. Like that would be mess. But yeah, it was such a good movie. Like, it was literally better than Thanos' snap. I think more people died in this movie than any DC and MCU movie I have seen combined. And another thing that was interesting is when people in Endgame and in Infinity Wars, when they died or they were disintegrated, you knew they were coming back in Endgame. You knew that we were going to have this massive, really cool live action battle, and we did. This movie, you don't have that luxury. When you are dead, you are dead. If you're not dead, you're enslaved, or you have like a Doctor Who Cyberman treatment. Or like it is a mess. So I really love that you don't really get a prolonged moment where it's not violent or when it's not dark and brooding. And I really like the tone of this movie. And some surprising things too. Like, I was very surprised because I mean, maybe this happened in the comic and I just missed it, but I didn't think that Damian and Raven had a relationship, but they seem to have like this complicated relationship in the movie. It's like a romantic relationship, which I thought was very, very interesting. One of the only things that let me down in this movie was some of the characters were kind of out of character. Like, honestly, guys, I love Lady Shiva. I have a spotlight video for her. I will link it below. That was not Lady Shiva in this movie. Lady Shiva is a lot more useful than she was in this. So I was not happy about that. But outside of that, I mean, honestly, there's really not a lot I can complain about in this movie. It was awesome. I mean, I've never seen so many heroes be ripped apart like so quickly. It makes you really appreciate the fact that DC characters are not these superpowered non-human beings. They actually can die. They actually have emotions. They actually, can be ripped apart, and stay dead. The ending of this movie was very abrupt. It basically, and I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily a spoiler. I'm just going to say it. If the Flash or any version of the Flash is still alive, of course, there's a chance to retcon things by causing another Flashpoint. So that was not a shock for me. I saw that coming a mile away. I know I want to say this movie was probably loosely, very, 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 very loosely, like based on comics like Justice League, Darkseid Wars, or the Darkseid Wars, I think. But it really, I mean, these are all, to me, I think maybe that was inspiration, but I think they took inspiration from a lot of different comics. So in the Justice League realm, but the Flash retconning things, that is an interesting concept, especially. So if you watch the CW Crisis on Infinite Poop, because that's what I call it, the only character that remembered all of the events that happened was Martian Manhunter, which to me never made any sense because honestly, Barry should have remembered everything. And so in my mind, they even got that incorrect. So it makes sense that if he is to go back and run back in time and basically undo all of these events so that they never happened, therefore creating a flashpoint, that he would be the only one that would remember it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for what the new DC animated movies are going to look like, because this one, I mean, it has topped every movie that I've seen so far in the DC, universe, or animated, I guess DCAU is what we're calling it. And the DCEU, if this had been the live action Justice League movie, I would have sold my car to try and be a producer, because this movie was awesome. So, but yeah, I hope I didn't spoil too much, because I don't think I did, but it's hard. It's hard doing a slight or small spoiler video without giving too much away. And I don't think I gave too much away. There is a lot more to this movie. But yeah, I probably did give away some key elements. And if so, I'm sorry. I will put a disclaimer in the description of this movie. But I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was the best $23.47 I spent on Prime this year so far. But that is my opinion. I want to know what you guys think, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.